We are holding a lot, my friends, aren't we? We are holding a lot in this space. We're talking about the different temperatures we're enduring right now, but there is so much in this world right now, and I cannot think of a place I would rather be than in this space with you all, sharing what we have together. And as you know, we have called tonight a cèilidh. And cèilidh is a beautiful Scots Gaelic word that really means visiting together, a time of visiting together. The verb is a cèilidh, and it's from an even older word that means companions. A cèilidh is a companion. And we hold this space together as companions. And one of the most beautiful and wonderful things about this space is that you all create it by being here, by coming literally from around the world, bringing the traditions that you have been raised in or that you have grown into, that you hold in your heart, and opening your hearts to all of the traditions that are in this space. And I am so very grateful for that. So as you are comfortable, please do put in the chat where you're coming from, on whose land you reside, to honor that land. And if there are any traditions you would like to uphold that are part of you, as you feel comfortable, share that in the chat as well. So this is a time of us visiting, and this is your space tonight. And I'm hoping some of you have already contacted me to say you have a song or a poem or something you'd like to share in this space. But I wanted to start just by naming the names of the people who have gathered us in this space and led sessions throughout the year. And I was doing that just for myself as we have come to this last session before our pause for the summer, or summer in the hemisphere where I am. And it's just so, my breath was taken away when I just read these names to myself. So I thought, I'm going to do that for you too. When we started last September with our first session until today, I'm just going to say the names that have led us in this space. So hold them in love and light and the gratitude as I bring their names to you. Zach Friedoff, Harold Messinger, Sunita Viswanath, Imam Jamal Rahman, Molly Grace Hicks, Dr. Karishma Koka and her mother, Mrs. Jaru Pantaki Ramohan, Kashmir Mariam, Serge El Halou, Rabbi Shelley Barnathan, Abid Hasib, KD Hasib, Hila Ratsabi, Simon DeVoyle, Dante Stewart, Victoria Lors, Heidi Barr, Patty Kroek, Morgana Sithov, Ursula Gleinicke, Shalane Harkin, Jennifer Falayan, Elika Mayani, Carmen Acevedo Butcher, Ashik Fazlullah, Ewan Fulton, Denise Collis, Barbara Chapel, Maureen Sire, Francoise Mwabufo, Swami Amano Arunwaklu, and Caitlin Curtis. So incredibly grateful to these people who have led us in a multitude of different contemplative practices from over 20 different traditions. if that is not beauty. So, my friends, I am going to open this space to you as you are comfortable to share. And even though we have our recording on here, if you would like to share something and you don't want it to be on the recording, you can let me know that privately and I will cut it out afterwards before we share this recording. So you can just private message me about that. So no worries. And otherwise, just a reminder, otherwise you will not be seen in the recording or your chats. So Ewan, would you be ready to start us off with something? And Denise?
Yeah, sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me speaking? Right, that's a good start. I just want to check the piano sort of works. Just like to change one setting here. Uh, Hold on. So that's. Let me try something.
And as Ewan is getting set up there, I just want to let you all know that as alignment, some people from alignment are leaving for Scotland and for Iona on Thursday. We will be with you and Denise in person. Yep, that's perfect. Ewan,
Okay.
thank you.
Now, before Ewan plays, I'd like to just share something with you. It's very short and brief. In my time here on Iona, Iona has become a very special place to me, and it really is a thin place. And when you're here, you really can see where heaven and earth meet. And this song has become so special, and the words of the song have been so special. And I know Margaret's going to put them in the chat, but I'd just like to read you the chorus before Ewan plays it, because you're not going to hear the words with the music at the same time. So here it goes. Even though the rain hides the stars, even though the mist swirls the hills, even when the dark clouds veil the sky, God is by my side. Even when the sun shall fall in sleep, even when at dawn the sky shall weep, even in the night when storms shall rise, God is by my side. God is by my side. And the verses I love as well. And you can just see this when you look out over to Mull and you see the mountains and you see the clouds. It really is a thin place. So this is one of my favourite songs here, and it means so much to me. So over to you, Ewan.
you, and thank you. Thank you for that gift. What a blessing. And thank you, Denise, for sharing those words with us. A beautiful song. For those who came in after we started, let me just say again that this is a cèilidh. And some people think of cèilidh just as dancing. But cèilidh means visiting with those with whom you have a heart connection. And that's what I feel being here with you all. So whether you have a song or a poem or just something you'd like to say, and as I said in the email I sent out to people, even if it is just a memory of one of the sessions that we had that sat with you, that stays with you from our time in alignment this year. This time is yours. So my friends, if you would like to share, you can raise your hand and I will, well, actually raising your hand is going to be hard for me to see because I can't see you all on the screen. But if you can digitally raise your hand, then you'll pop up for me. But Stephen, I believe I see you.
Yes, we started with music, and this morning I preached on the healing of the demoniac in Gerasene, which I believe may be in modern day Jordan now. And the text from Luke seemed so appropriate about our warring madness and how we need God's help to find our way to peace. And the reading is from a 19th century Quaker poet. You all may know John Greenleaf Whittier, who wrote a wonderful hymn text that I quoted this morning that seemed appropriate to what we in America are going through and what we're putting the world through right now. And so I'd like to quote a couple of verses from Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, if that's okay. I said, first we must hear the voice of the 19th century Quaker poet who was a friend of my own great-grandfather, John Greenleaf Whittier, whose hymn we heard today. It's a hymn for peace of mind, mindfulness, and reverence that rises above rage and madness. And the first verse, which our congregation read together, was, Dear Lord and Father of mankind, forgive our foolish ways. Reclothe us in our rightful mind. In purer lives, thy service find. In deeper reverence, praise. And I said of that first verse that healing begins with confession, confessing our foolish ways. And then we become open to healing, just as the demoniac of Gerasene did. He was called a Meshuggah in Hebrew, a crazy person. But here the crazy man presents himself for healing. And in Whittier's fourth verse, we hear, drop thy still dews of quietness till all our strivings cease. Take from our hearts the strain and stress, and let our ordered lives confess the beauty of thy peace. And finally, Whittier closes with, breathe through the heats of our desire thy coolness and thy balm. Let sense be dumb, let flesh retire. Speak through the earthquake, wind, and fire, O still small voice of calm. Then I closed it with saying, may it be so within us and among us. In Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Stephen. And for me, those words are very, very special. I said them as we put my mother's ashes in the ground. Francesca, you are muted, but are you ready to share?
Can you hear me now? Yes. it follows on very much from what Stephen was saying. I sat and wrote this today. And we had, by the way, Stephen, we had the demoniac as well in our church. Do you remember? Do you remember being frightened of shadows? The way curtains made goblins on the wall? The fear that goblins would hurt you? The way shapes morphed into horrible creatures? Creatures conceived by our imagination. Do you remember feeling frightened of wars? The tensions around Cuba and the missile crisis? The pamphlet that arrived telling you to hide? The tension of the horror of nuclear war, a war of decimation we never fought. The world is returning to those fears because of the fragility of the decisions of leaders who see shadows and respond in violence. The world sees leaders unstable, corrupt, leaders who want to control the global stage. My Jesus lived in a fragile world of hate and violence, controlled by clerics who forced obedience, Romans who saw shadows of rebellion and hate. My Jesus gave love to both and created a place of peace, a community formed to forgive and heal, who could disperse the fear of dark shadows to bring hope and joy.
Mm.
That started with me sitting in a car today and writing down, do you remember the shadows? And it just flowed from there.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you for using your gift of expression to take what is on your heart and on our hearts and give them voice. So grateful for that.
Wait until the book comes out.
Yeah.
Nearly finished it. Yay!
We're grateful. Please go ahead and unmute if you would like to share anything, because as I said, I can't.
Becky was waving.
Becky, sorry. Thank you. I have it on.
Okay, I am waving. I'm doing a lot more things than waving. I've enjoyed alignment very much. Sometimes it really calls me to, a depth that I've never gone to before. I've enjoyed very much the prayer sessions we've had in times of war, because knowing that I haven't experienced war as we see it in other countries, sometimes I have my own war that goes on. But I lost a dear friend last Sunday, a woman I went to high school with. We've known each other for 50 years, Kathy. And over the spring, she was dealing with a lot of illness. She ended up with a stroke and Christmas Day, and they discovered she had cancer, and she died last Sunday. So I've written a few poems that call her to mind, that call to mind what I've yearned for, what I struggle with. So I'd like to share those if I can. The first poem is called Strength. I told my friend I would pray for strength. She had to cancel her chemo. Her white cell count was low. I realized later that she is also recovering from a stroke. How do I pray for her? The only way it makes sense is to pray for fortitude. It is another way to look at it, to be more proactive, like becoming fortified and nourished within and without the body. Fortification leaves us open to receive strength. It has the ability to hold on tight to withstand anything harmful. I already see her as having strength. She has been through this before when we were younger. How can you raise 5 children and not be strong? I know I have fortitude. Many people showed me the way. Family, mentors, friends. It is in the believing that I have it. Perhaps I can ask her to pray for me. Together, let us purge what does not make us whole, accepting that we believe in a strength greater than us. And while going through the months of spring and realizing that me and some of our friends, we just couldn't visit her because she was going to physical therapy and having chemo treatments and all these things. And coming from it was just 5 children and 8 grandchildren, so her life was very busy. And in all of that, she was still mentoring a young woman she had taught at Arcadia, where she had taught for almost 40 years, helping her get ready to get a master's degree. So she was just a delight, a gift to many people. So this next poem is called Mourning, Mourning, into morning, Morning. Morning into morning. What if? How come? If only. Why me? I say these words when I grieve. Through tears they echo around me, blocking my sense of what is real, spinning my thoughts into denial. I scream, I ache, I pretend it didn't happen. The death, the loss, the change. Stop, take a breath, relax, step back and bring in someone to hold, to comfort, to be with. I will go through these moments again and again, but then the birds will regale me with song. They will call me to morning, a newness that will calm my mind. I will move from morning into morning. Thank you.
Oh, dear Becky, thank you so much for sharing that. How powerful. What a beautiful witness for your friend. We hold you in that grief. Thank you for giving it expression.
Thank you.
Kaith, I am so happy to welcome you into this space.
Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. This is my first time with this group, and I just recently met Margaret, who invited me. So it's very wonderful to meet you all today. I wanted to reflect on what just happened was the bombing of Iran by the US government and several Iranian friends that I've been speaking to today. I ended up translating a short passage from the poetry of Rainer Maria Rilke, and I just wanted to read that. It's particularly from a letter of his. Okay. He says, sometimes it feels like our strength is insufficient to endure an experience of death, especially of the closest and most terrifying beloved. Yet death is not beyond our strength, but is the fullness of our capacity. I am not saying that we can love death, but if we love life so generously, so without calculation and discrimination, then we involuntarily come to include and to love death too as the side of life that is turned away from us and is not illuminated, like the dark side of the moon, is at home in both death and life, and is not therefore a separation. It is inexhaustibly nourished by both. Death can be a friend precisely when we most passionately, most vehemently assent to being here, to living and working on earth, to nature, and to love. So I hope very much that there can be peace in this situation and a full recognition of the full inclusivity of our lives, and to embrace even that which passes from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that beautiful translation. And we hold this space with you. I think the most powerful thing that we can create through alignment here is that we can hold this with one another across our traditions, across our time zones, opening our hearts to the pain and the places in which we can let light in. Thank you, Kaith, for joining us. Karishma?
Thank you, Reverend Margaret. Mummy would like to share a few thoughts with us today.
Thank you.
I'd like to say a few words. Thank you, Reverend. I'd like to repeat myself and say, this world is such a beautiful place. It's created so well, so beautifully, so perfectly, that we all rejoice in it. Instead of having wars, instead of having enmity, why don't we all form a chain of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds that can spread throughout the world and stop all the bad people or mad people or whoever's doing these wrong things and troubling the others who are quiet, who are peace-loving, who are honest and good. Why are they all troubling us? We don't want wars. We don't want enmity. We don't want troubles on earth. Let us all pray that there is peace in this world, that there is friendship instead of enmity, that there is trade going on all over the world peacefully. There's love spreading among all brothers and sisters. Let us all be one in this universe. Help each other. Our thoughts are so powerful. We think about 50 to 60,000 times in a day. Let all our thoughts go towards peace and love and happiness, good work, good finances, good food, good life, good everything. That there is peace and love and friendship in this world. Let us all pray together in our minds just for 1 minute. Let us be quiet and think of all these beautiful things. Think of the beautiful animals and the trees and the mountains and the rivers and the seas, all the beautiful people, all the flowers, all the skies, the beautiful stars, the sun, the moon, all the planets, all the various natural beauties of the Creator, whoever the Creator may be. We create with our thoughts, mostly. So let us all remain silent for a minute and spread peace on earth. Thank you.
And as we do that, let us also give gratitude for Reverend Margaret and each person who has contributed to alignment. Because as we have aligned with each other effectively, we have aligned with that creative energy, that vibration. Thank you all. Thank you, Mummy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is how peace comes into our world. Thank you. Maureen? Maureen, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Good. Yeah, I was just saying that this is actually the third prayer gathering for peace I've been to today, and every one of them has been so beautiful. I think the whole world I feel is just praying for peace right now. But this reading I wanted to share is a segment from a talk given by Abdu'l Baha, the son of the founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, in Paris during his travels to the West. And it was an address made in October 1911. And I was just thinking that was just a few years before that terrible First World War. And it's called The Pitiful Causes of War and the Duty of Everyone to Strive for Peace. I charge you all that each one of you concentrate all the thoughts of your heart on love and unity. When a thought of war comes, oppose it by a stronger thought of peace. A thought of hatred must be destroyed by a more powerful thought of love. Thoughts of war bring destruction to all harmony, well-being, restfulness, and content. Thoughts of love are constructive of brotherhood, peace, friendship, and happiness. When soldiers of the world draw their swords to kill, soldiers of God clasp each other's hands. So may all the savagery of man disappear by the mercy of God, working through the pure in heart and the sincere of soul. Do not think the peace of the world an ideal, impossible to attain. Nothing is impossible to the divine benevolence of God. If you desire with all your heart friendship with everyone on earth, your thoughts, spiritual and positive, will spread. It will become the desire of others, growing stronger and stronger until it reaches the minds of all men. Do not despair. Work steadily. Sincerity and love will conquer hate. How many seemingly impossible events are coming to pass in these days? Set your faces steadily towards the light of the world. Show love to all. Love is the breath of the Holy Spirit in the heart of man. Take courage. God never forsakes his children who strive and work and pray. Let your hearts be filled with the strenuous desire that tranquility and harmony may encircle all this warring world.
Thank you, Maureen. 2 years ago when we started the week of prayer for world peace, the resource. One of our Baha'i alignment leaders, Elika Mayani, set those words to music for her offering for the week of prayer for world peace.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
To hear that again. And one of the things that we do when we're on pause for the summer is we are building the beautiful resource of the Week of Prayer for World Peace that will launch to the world in October. And if you go and look at our page on our website that says World Peace, you will see the plans for that and how you can share it when the time comes. And my friends, I realize we are over our normal time, but there is something I would like to end with. And if you need to go, please, I understand. So grateful for you gathering here. But I would like to share something that is coming out this September or October, and that is a book that I have written called When Prayer Doesn't Work. And it is largely about my experience with all of you, beautiful friends, and all the people I have met along the way. But I will be sharing and launching this book on the Isle of Iona in October, but I just felt as if you are the group that I would like to share this publicly with first. And so taking a moment of your time, I'd just like to read the first page for you all. So this is the first page from the introduction of When Prayer Doesn't Work. I'm not sure I'll ever find the marble quarry, that elusive spot on the south side of the Isle of Iona may be a destination that remains forever unfound for me. And maybe that's just as it should be. It was my first time traveling alone to Iona, the land that grounds my connection to now and then, to body and breath, to heaven and earth, to humanity and the spirit world, that liminal space of thinness where I am at home and utterly lost at the same time. And lost I was. The directions seemed so clear. Up the road to the back bays, first left at the crossroads, and over the moors to the south side cliffs of the island. There, the treasure trove of decades past, where the distinctive green and white marble was harvested for the abbey and sacred objects of countless pilgrims. One year, my antiquity and rock-loving son snuck off to the quarry by himself and came back with pockets full of remnants and a story of scaling a 30-foot cliff. He hung on to the marble with his clawed fingertips, the sea far beneath his precarious grasp, and a spider far too close to his face. The terrifying part for him, the spider. For me, the thought that I would never have found him had he fallen. On this summer day, after what must have been 50 trips to Iona, first with my parents, then with my own children, I was there alone for the first time, determined to get to the quarry by myself. Instead of the destination, however, I found the journey. Following the path made by the footsteps of others seemed easy at first, until the mud was so thick that I was skipping from foot to foot so I wouldn't sink in with a slower step. My toes were squelching in my sodden socks. My body was bracing against the wind coming off the sea. My already challenged sense of direction was completely gone. After multiple attempts to reorient and redirect, I decided to practice being lost. The words that came: when there is no option but to keep going, keep going. I recognized this as my mantra, my breath prayer, during the couple of hours that it took to untangle myself and find the road again. But on later reflection, I realized that being lost was the practice of prayer itself. How stuck I was growing up in my understanding of what prayer was, so limited to words and formulae and beliefs and one inherited tradition. I failed to notice that all along, my parents had been teaching me about prayer in ways that I never understood. In a world which has lost its compass, failing to recognize the sanctity of humanity and creation at every turn, it is critical that we open our hearts and ground our feet to practices of prayer that embrace the holiness of every moment that we encounter, that embrace the traditions of those who live and work and breathe around us, that honor and uphold the voices of all who cry out in pain, isolation, grief, and invisibility, that allow us to fall in love with ourselves. How do we begin? By rethinking and reframing and reimagining. So, my friends, that is what you have allowed me to do in this space, to reimagine what prayer is, and that it is as simple as us coming together to create this sacred space together. I will miss you as we pause for these weeks. We will be together again, and there are ways that we can stay in touch. We are bound together by heart and soul. And if anyone has any parting words to say, I will turn off the recording and let us share our love with one another.